Hi lovely, welcome to this episode of Ask Jennibellie.
Hi lovelies, it's Jennibellie. This video is one I am preparing to send out to my newsletter crew later today, and I just thought I'd share it here because I know we like to see each other's spaces and how we organise our stuff, and it's been a question I've been asked over the years, so I thought I'd include it here too. But Ask Jennibellie is something that I usually only exclusively send out to my newsletter crew, along with another video called Art Supply of the Month, and as well as showing the art supply this month, I'm also showing you how to make it, so that's super fun. So if you'd like a couple of extra Jennibellie videos, then sign up to my newsletter. I'll put the details in the description.
This time we are going with a Facebook comment left by Yeel on, I think it was the Juicy Edges video tutorial I just posted about how to make the edges of your art journal pages lovely and juicy and fat. Because we used scraps in that video, the question was, how do you organise your scraps? So I thought, I don't have any other Ask Jennibellie questions currently, so send them in to me. And so I thought that this one would be a good one to do. Show you basically how I organise my scraps. I'm not going through the whole of my paper stash here. I'm not going through pattern papers, I'm not going through my ephemera, I'm not going through scrapbooking papers, decoupage papers, tissue papers, all of that. What I'm going through is the scraps, so the leftover bits, the torn edges, the junk mail, the loads of magazines that we get for free, the leftover bits from other projects. That is what we're going to look at in this video, and I'm going to show you also, as well as how I store them, how I process all of that. So this is how it works for me in my head. At some point I may do it differently. I think through our creative process, how we interact with our stuff changes because our creativity changes. So what works for me today might not work for me in a year, and what works for me now might not work for you, but this is how I currently do it, so I hope you enjoy.
So here are my regular scraps. This drawer is the first drawer on my very messy desk for me to reach up and just pull stuff out of. This is pretty much where everything lands, and then I tend to use that mostly. But then I also have this little basket here, which I just put in more, it's just random pieces that I can easily just pull out and put on my desk without having to rummage through all of that to look for pretty pattern papers. So this is what I often just come into when I'm doing backgrounds and stuff like that. And this is what was in the three glues, the Juicy Edges video, which was what this question was posted on. I also have this basket up here, which, let me pull it down so I can show you. This basket here currently has my flowers in it from the birthday bash. I will at some point move them to somewhere else, but they're quite cool here because this is where there's lots of, you know, collage pieces. This is just something I pull out when I might want to use them more in the page, so there's a lot of more special types of collage is what I consider more special. So there's banknotes and there's stamps, lots of stamps and bits and pieces. More things that I might use as a focal on an art journal page rather than the background, which is what I would probably use these scraps for. So if this is more what I would consider collage rather than scraps. There is scraps in here and it has got kind of mixed up a little bit. But this is from, I made this from the Raw Intuitive Journaling class. If you're in this, you would have seen that in there. Like here's a lot of photographs and tube maps and, you know, just random things, but these are all images that I consider more interesting than just scraps. Okay, so this is scraps, but it's more specialized scraps, let's say, and for when I want to use the collage, these pieces as collage elements rather than just any old piece of paper will do. Now I have some drawers. These are pieces of junk mail and magazines, and I process my magazines. So you can see these are single pages of magazines. They are not full pages. There's some gift wrap there. Sometimes this is a small little a Blue Cross, which is an animal charity magazine, and it's just a small little pamphlet type thing. And because, as you just saw there, there's little images in it that I might pull out. I don't know what necessarily I might use out of this, so things that are small I might keep, whereas ones that are a bit bigger I might, you know, go through and process. And I'll just show you how I process things. So with catalogues like this one, that is obviously a shoe catalogue, I will go through and I'll pull out anything that might be relevant, because there's no point keeping the whole of this little book when it's pretty much all of the same thing. So I go through and I take out what I think I might use, and that could be, there's a lot more gold in here than what you think. You can use these textured backgrounds. There's always, in catalogues like this, backgrounds or fabrics. So for instance here, what I was just telling you about the gold in the background and stuff, you know, that's a guy's shoulder or a guy's arm, and who's going to know that that's what that is? It looks like denim or just lovely stars in the blue sky. Can be used for anything. This is off of a pizza. You probably see it now. I've told you these are a pizza menu, but you maybe won't know when it goes into a background. Things like food and veg and things. So that's from a bit from a top. This is some stone in the background. So this is, see, it's the same catalogue, Hotter, which is a brand of shoes. This is wooden planks. Just all kinds of strange things. I think this was a crowd on a magazine. This is like a sports magazine, and this was the crowd at a football pitch. That was from a Virgin Media or some kind of junk mail that came through the door. And I'm not going to save all of the junk mail, but these are really interesting textures. So what I do with that kind of stuff is I pull out these little bits, because you don't want to keep all of that. So I keep a little folder just of interesting stone, woods, fabrics, wood, water, fabrics, nature, fabrics, lots of interesting textures and colours. I also go through magazines and things for words. If I use a page, say, there's some magazines that I keep whole, you know, I don't know what I'm going to use. Junk mail comes through and I see these things and I just cut them out, what's relevant to me. So there's some ideas for culling your stash a little bit while still having all of the best things out of it. And also it actually gives you an idea of things you might have, because you do remember when you've gone through and pulled things out, it's more embedded in your brain as to what you have versus a magazine that you've never looked in. You don't know what the possibilities are yet. So it's a way of acquainting yourself with what you've got, but also making sure you haven't got too much that's overwhelming. So there's one drawer of scraps that I keep my washi tape rolls on. And then down here I have a bigger drawer. This is a double width drawer, and this has, I've still processed them, as you can see these are single pages, but then it might have more fuller magazines in here for me to go through. There's a pack of tarot cards that I'm using, grid paper and stuff like that. So that's how I generally keep my scraps. Here's another one of magazines. So I keep them more like this until I then process them and kind of take them up in hierarchy up to here. And then from those drawers, all of the pieces that I use in my artwork, and then maybe tear some off. So for instance, this one, as you can see, I'm not going to show you how I store my pattern papers, because that's a completely different thing. But you can see here, when I've done the processing of the papers and I've come to use them and just got bits of pieces left over, this is where these turn up in here.
Oh, hello, Sweepy Bum. Sweepy Bum. Pitter patter, pitter patter. Oh, don't lick me. Ugh.